Welcome to the DISTILLERY podcast, episode 246, keeping you all in the mix. How are ya? Bro, just back in the studio today, feeling good, man. My hair's flickering, looking good. Full-bodied hair today because I went out into the ocean and got a little bit of magnesium and salts going through the organs and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed my morning this morning out in the Pacific Ocean, licking the ocean as we usually do. As a lone wolf, we usually lick a river, but this time I went out and licked the salt water. And to be honest, bro, it's something that I think I need to keep in my like my weekly or at least monthly schedule, because the way that it makes me feel is second to none. Nothing makes me feel like this. I can, go skiing and get adrenalized by that, or I can do a show and get adrenalized by that, but nothing kind of stabilizes my stupid head the same way that going into the ocean and surfing does. I actually met a gladiator out there today, which is just me and this other guy just off some reef in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, about 300 meters off the coast. And dude, just having a chat. The next thing you know, what do you do? This guy's like 27. He's talking to me. I'm talking to him about stuff. Hey, bro, what's your name? I was like, Vlad. He goes, oh, man, are you the guy that wears the Speedies? Aussie guy, I go, yeah, I wear the Speedies. He goes, bro, I didn't even notice you, mate. Oh, sorry, not bro. Mate, I didn't even notice you without the Speedies. Yeah, man, I watch your stuff. I love your stuff, man. Yeah, I'll get on board with all that stuff. It's good to get an Aussie's approval, bro. All my life I've been hanging out with Aussies and Wogs, and to be honest, sometimes the Aussies approve of me more than the Wogs, but to get an Aussie going, yeah, mate, I find you funny, that's great. It just shows that, hey, he's not a one-trick pony. Hey, he doesn't just cater to the ethnics. Oh, my God, he's going all around America. He's going to cater to everyone. Oh, he's opening up the market. Next thing you know, it's going to be the State Theatre 4 nights in a row. Oh, yes, he's doing it. Why the fuck not? If Carl Barron can do it, so can Vlad. So the thing is, you don't want to close yourself off only to Wogs. And even though Wogs are my favourite type of demographic, especially when it comes to laughing, they laugh their heads off. We don't want to, you know what I mean, have prejudice here. We want to bring in every person, anyone that wants to have a laugh, come along to the shows. So that being said, as you start off the opening Wogologue, we always have a little bit of promo. If you're in London, to the 150 people that listen in London, come to the show so I can sell it out at the Cavendish Arms in 3 weeks' time, less than 3 weeks now. And for America, you guys are going to get your tickets now. mycousinvlad.com, they're filling up. Toronto's like 60% sold. Montreal, there's some tickets moving there. New York, 2 nights, one of them's nearly 50% sold. And then we've got Detroit, Cleveland, Ohio at the Funny Bone, Detroit at MCC, Macedonian Cultural Center, which is like some, I don't know, someplace. And then we've got Chicago at the Red Room Comedy Club, and then Los Angeles at the Ha Ha Comedy Club. Please come along. They're small venues. This is my first tour in the United States and Canada, but I will be back next year after I get a taste for it. Hopefully I enjoy the process and everything goes well and go over there, with a full visa for 5 years and pay tax and tariffs and shit to Donald Trump's hairstyle. I still can't understand what their hairstyle is, to be honest. Like it's some type of a rug or a raccoon or some type of roadkill on the side that has just been scooped up and then just carefully etched out of the remains of the torso of like some numbat or something like that, and then carefully put together on a wig cap and then given to this guy who plays golf during his presidency. And it's a brilliant hairstyle, but I've never seen anything like it. And I have a strange hairstyle. It brings character, and his hairstyle cannot be imitated. You can imitate mine, just have a curly and have a big forehead, but his, you can't even imitate it. What's one side forward, the other side's back, then it goes up, then there's a mud flap at the back, then the front there's like a tubing pipeline style wave, and then under the wave it's going across, like the riptide. This cunt's head's an ocean. Like who knows what's going on in there. Yeah, so I went to the beach and really enjoyed the morning. I was supposed to podcast earlier, and I said, you know what, man, you don't do enough for yourself. You need some me time, which is really against my entire kind of view of the world over the last 7 years since I've had a daughter, because me time, it's no such thing, okay? If my missus heard me say, I'm going to have some me time, she'll agree with me, but she'll bring it up in an argument in 2.5 years' time when we're driving home from a wedding where she's upset because I said something publicly that was supposed to be private. And that's the issue with being married to a comedian, you're married to an idiot. But she'll be like, oh, so you need some more me time, do you? Like, me time for me, I used to do it all the time. And frankly, I was more of a moron back then. But at the same time now, you got to balance the me time a little bit. You got to do some shit that you enjoy doing, like that fills your cup up, so then you can overflow the cup to people, to thee, with the double E at the end. You know, you have to be able to have enough sustenance in your own cup to be able to be a good friend, be a good son, be a good father, be a good podcaster, comedian, this, that. And I found myself kind of burning out, man. I was speaking about it a little bit on this podcast a few weeks ago, just before my Sydney show or Melbourne show. I was like, hey, man, I'm going to tap out after my Sydney show and kind of chill and do a little bit of me time and stuff like that. You just need, man, you got to hit the refresh button. For anyone that's out there working head down, ass up, whatever you want to call it, that's admirable if you feel that that's what life's about, which is just you're probably puppeting or following some other lunatic that never looked in the mirror before in his life. And it's usually the generation above us and the one above us, above them, like our grandparents. Even our grandparents are actually better than our parents. But our parents, born in the 40s, 50s and 60s, they could work until they explode on site, you know, and that's just because they can't go home and have a chat to the wife because they've never been educated in the art of conversation. They don't know what they're doing there. So they're at a loggerheads with their wife, they're stonewalling, and all the four horsemen from the Gottman theory of the marriage counselling, they're going on. And he comes home, he has to have Fordak, he has just to stabilise himself. I know exactly how he feels. So he just goes, fuck it, I'll take the overtime. And I get it, and that's okay. But then it comes to the point where your koleno, your knee, just explodes on site one day, and you go, koleno, and they go, oi, Vancho, you got to go on compo now. Oh, no compo, please. Please, just let me do a job where I sit on seat and give out parts or give out something. I can be supervisor for you 14 hours a day thrown by, brother. And they're like, no, Vancho, we can't have you on site. You're a liability now. Your ACL and MCL is blown out. And now so you're going to have to sit at home and watch the football, you know? And he goes, oh, no, but Vera is at home. And Vera says she's going to drive me crazy. Sorry, Vancho, you got to meet your demons, bro. And then the next thing, you're at home, and you have to sit around that generation. But if you're of that mindset and you're 37 years old and you can't wait to go back to work again, start doing shit that you like. This is a message to people that are not balanced. And I was one of them. And I am one of them. Let's call it. My wife's one of them. And a lot of people in this modern day are an unbalanced freak of nature. A UFON, all right? A UFON. A lot of people are out here as a UFON, an unbalanced freak of nature. And the freak of nature part is that we continue suffering and doing shit that just wears away at the fabric of your entire person just so you can make ends meet. And it's unsustainable. And that's why I'm building a duplex. So build a duplex is what I'm trying to say. Don't build a duplex. What I'm trying to say is get yourself a little homestead with a couple of candles, reduce the electricity bills, get a hot tub, like a hot tub, the ones that on the outside, you don't have to build it into a wall or anything, just buy one from IKEA and sit in it, soak in a tub, bro. Don't go to AMP, do not get yourself in millions of dollars of debt where you have to just sit here ranting on a microphone about the imbalances of life. Just don't build a duplex, that's all I'm saying. And if you're not building a duplex, but you also got a cocaine and hooker habit, and you end up just plumbing your way from here to Melbourne to support that, so you can stay under pokies till 6:30 in the morning with a Vietnamese guy with 3 teeth left in his mouth down at the Carlton pub, then maybe have a hard look at the mirror as well and say, this type of lifestyle is wearing me thin like my hairline. So we are a spun out, unbalanced freak of nature country. I feel Sydney. Let's just compartmentalise this for people that are over in Bunbury going, oh, it's not like that over here, Vlad. Oh, mate, you're generalising everything, pal. Are you having an event with your brain? Are you having an anxious attack, are you, pal? Which is true. That's what happens when you get very anxious. You generalise things because it's easier to think and you can't be bothered fragmenting everything into their actual factuals. So you end up just going, everyone's fucked. And that's good for comedy. And trust me, it's worked for me and most comedians that have walked the land. Because if you imagine if you said 17.3% of people are fucked, then you're like, oh, God, this is too realistic for me. You're better off just smear the entire populace with your assumptions. And that's what comedians do, and that's fine. Now, within, if you have any type of insight or any type of street smart, then you can work out, oh, yeah, he's spotting out some developments within society that we have seen in the past as well. And he's speaking on these points that are they're microcosms of the larger overview of society. However, he's generalizing it for a point. Yes, he's generalizing it for a point. And that would be a savvy reviewer of the Canberra Times. My name is Rebecca Randalls. And yes, Vlad's podcast is insightful. Yes, a little triggering. And yes, a little general. However, he does strike the nail on the head every now and then. Yeah. So that Unbalanced Freak of Nature is a Sydney thing. I think in Melbourne they've got a little bit more kind of boastful culture where they end up, they're just kind of, yeah, man, let's go out and try it. Like falafels this weekend. Oh, we're eating Turkish pide at the Turkish Pide Festival somewhere over in Preston's, trying not to get stabbed over there by some African gang member that's going around wielding a machete like a guy that works in the sugarcane fields. Not racist, all right? Because if you work in the sugarcane fields, you do need a machete, all right? So factual, if anything. So if you're going to cut that, cut it exactly how I said it. And put the African in there, no problem, because people do come from a place. And there's sugar fields and also machetes. So, not racist, all right? I saw the photo of an African guy with a machete running with Nike TNs on, pitchka mumatirin, all right? So I'm a gang member. I mean, what type of fuckwit are you, you know? What type of fuckwit are you running through the street with TNs and a machete on? I've got to empathise with him because there's no self-awareness going on there and he's an angry fuckwit. And that's fine, being an angry, no self-awareness fuckwit. But, dude, you know, the cops got to come in. The cops got to bring the baton out. Something's got to happen. You got to know this is not on. This is not on, prick. I'm walking with my daughter that came out to buy some Peppa Pig undies and some Peppa Pig pajamas for her. And you're coming out wielding a machete like you're going through the cornfields. That's not racist again, because people that work in the cornfields, black or white, yellow or green, doesn't matter who they are, where they're from, okay? Russians, they can do it as well. They're wielding a machete. Now, if you're going to cut that, cut it exactly how I said it. Publicise it. Try to get me cancelled for stating the actual factuals. That's what I'm trying to do out here on the DISTILLERY podcast. Don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about feelings, mate. Facts don't care about feelings, mate. That's what someone said once when we were in a conversation. This moron had been sitting on the algorithm for so long that he was just repeating Charlie Kirk. And what's that other moron with the Jewish prick with the little hat that never falls off? How do they do that, by the way, the Jews? Have they all got a bald spot? Is it stuck? Is there glue there? Is it blue tack? You know, that's not racist either. I'm just wondering about the physics of how this yarmulke stays on the head, you know? How does it stay on the head, the yarmulke? Because if I put it on my head, I can barely keep a hat on. If I flick my head back, my baseball hat goes off. How's a yarmulke, which is like a semicircle, kind of a dome, going to stay on? I don't understand. Anyway, maybe they have to keep still a lot of the time that you keep it on. So, yeah, this guy said, what was I going to say? He was listening to the algorithm so long that he just started saying Charlie Kirk thing. Facts don't care about your feelings, mate. Ben Shapiro, that's the name of the guy. He brought it back. ADHD in full force right now. So, you know, being a UFON, and what did we call it? Not unbalanced, yeah, unbalanced freak of nature, has its perks because you can accumulate some work, some riches and all of that stuff, but it comes at a cost, bro. You're going to burn out the brain, you're going to burn out the resources, friendships, relationships, families. I was speaking to my dad the other day. This is how this opening Wogologue rant came along. I was speaking to my dad the other day. What happened between the 90s and now, bro? No one sees each other anymore, bro. What is it? It's like, it's just this continuous work. And even when we're with each other, you can't kick it. You can't chill. Is it just me? I'm looking around, like, I hang around with 25-year-olds, my cousins, and then I hang around with 65-year-olds on my dad's side. To be honest, the 65-year-olds are more chilled than us. They're more chilled. Of course they're chilled. They're sitting on a portfolio. You know what I mean? These are the type of people that actually need a briefcase to keep all the land tax records in for all the properties that they own. They need it when they go. They need an accordion case when they go in to see the accountant. They're going to see some guy called Paul Pittman, and he's got an accordion case in his. G'day, how are you, Slavko, mate? Yeah, no worries, you're just going through the 9 properties? Yeah, buddy, you just go through the 9 properties if you don't mind. Yeah, no problem, pal, take a seat here, you're going to go through, mate. Get in the tax bracket, you're getting the tax break, sorry, over here, and we'll be decreasing it. Yeah, mate, you do what you want. My rental in the moment, $7,000, $500 a week coming in, throw my brother. So it's like that generation, but our generation, I think the Gen Millennials and then the Zs and the fucking ABCs or whoever the new ones are, the alphabet crew, we're maybe the younger ones, they're not. They can chill. I'm thinking it's maybe just us in the working years, the 25 to like 55 range. I'm trying to work it out, man, because I think it's, you get a family, you get a mortgage, you got work on, you miss your balance, and I'm wondering. This is what I try to do on the podcast, is try to like sift it out. Like, is it just Sydney? Is this shit happening in Mackay? Is this happening in the Gold Coast? Because I hear reports from people from different places, and they're like, "Nah, man, our lifestyle's awesome." Me and my missus, we gotta write in, like, to go and watch Mission Impossible a month in advance. And then when we get there, we're on the phone. There's an email coming in. The guy needs to know what colour the cornices are going to be of the house. Or what paint do you want? Charmed white, off-white, ivory cream, beige, bone, slightly yellow white, a grey white, a neutral white. Bro, pick a fucking white, cunt. We don't know what white is different to white. Just get it, put it on, and go, I've picked it, charmed white. Well, it's brilliant. This is how you sell people. Charmed white's the most popular white. It is. This is what they're doing in Dulles Point, Double Bay. This is what they're doing in Dover Heights. You drop that, and my wife's like, nice. Dover Heights, okay. Yeah, great. I'll take it. Charmed white, very charming. I think it just might be the years, man. So, long ran short, like opening Wogologue, coming in with the Unbalanced Freaks of Nature. It's, if you like sport, you got to do more of it. You got to do things that fill your cup up, man. I'm not a huge people person to say that I like to hang around with the boys all the time. I did when I was younger, and I don't know if it was like the best thing for me, because hanging out with the boys all the time is just like a lot of drinking going on. Like, we're not hanging out playing tennis. That's what I'm doing now. If I'm hanging out with Tony Mutsky now, we're having a game of tennis. We're not sitting there like trying to clean a bottle of proper 12 Scotch whiskey from Conor McMuffin that's doing lines of some stripper's arsehole. Now we're just playing tennis and then maybe getting a cup of tea and speaking about techniques of how to mitigate the wife. That's our kind of lifestyle at the moment. I'm going to go to watch the football this Friday with my son and stuff like that. So I'm trying to incorporate some more culture into just a life of just work and repayments. And I'm a big fan of like getting a property because it does free you up in the long run, but in the short run, bro, it's a run. It's a run, not a short run. It's a fucking run. You're constantly on the treadmill. You can't you can't take a foot off that thing. You're going to trip over. You know how I got that idea? When I saw, what's his name? It's going to, I'm like thanking you. What's his name? Rafael Nadal. He just retired recently. And he turned up to Roland Garros, where he's won like 15 of these grand slams or whatever they're called on the clay. He's the king of clay, this guy, right? And he comes in and says, bam, I'm like into thanking to you. I like to hear to thank you to Arroda Herrera. I like to thank you to Anoa Roivich. I like to thank you to Andy Murray. I thank you to everybody that come here. This guy, when he took his foot off the gas for a second, boom, gone. From number one in the world, just you get a little injury, pop, there goes the knee, the ACL from Vancho. This is the same thing. He's gone now. If Rafa tries to jump on right now, even though he hasn't played for 6 months, if Rafa tried to jump on right now, he's going from top 5 down to 85, I reckon. And then from maybe even 55. Within a year, he'll be 150. Because you lose that momentum, and that momentum is everything. But that momentum, at the same time, pretty much takes shit out of you. It wears away at you, like anything that momentum causes, tires, wheels, anything that you use to gain momentum wears out. So that balance, man, I've just been doing a little journey into it. That's why this opening Wogologue is just a little self-analysis of the current state of affairs of the UFONs. What do we call it? The Unbalanced Freaks of Nature. Whether we are doing the right thing or we are just tickling the balls off the NAB manager so we can continue paying the mortgages. And the fear of never being able to fucking take your foot off the gas, man, it's a life sucker. Yeah, so anyway, something to think about.